The subclasses chosen by your player characters help to create implicit details about your campaign world. For example, if your character is a battlesmith artificer accompanied by their steel defender, does that mean that automatons are common in your campaign setting, or is this something your character has explicitly learned how to do? The subclasses presented in the Grim Hollow Player's Guide lean towards creating grittier characters that are making their way through a troubled world. My name is Ben Byrne, and these are the experts of Grim Hollow. If you're an indecisive player who struggles to stick with one character concept or class, the Bardic College of Adventurers might be for you. Play as a truly unique and epic feeling hero that isn't rigidly constrained into the confines of the stereotypes of a single class. At 3rd level, you become a talented adventurer, providing you with an extra talent that is a semi-limited version of another class's core feature. If your character is particularly quick-witted like a rogue, you can gain the ability to use a bonus action to dash, disengage, or hide on your turn. Or if your bard is particularly punchy and commonly gets into bar brawls, they might go on a rampage, becoming resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. The College of Adventurers basically allows you to create a flexible character concept by mixing and matching other classes' features. You get to choose additional talents at 6th and 14th level. And while these talents aren't quite as strong as the true class features, the advantage over multi-classing is that you're not missing out on any core bardic abilities as you level up, like counter charm or an increase to your bardic inspiration dice. And your spell slots will also increase accordingly with your level. Your College of Adventurers bard might be a spiritual pilgrim who draws strength from their faith in the gods, taking the paladin and the cleric talents at 3rd and 6th level. Such a character isn't an ordained priest or constrained by rigid doctrines, and might travel the realm singing the praises of the gods in pretty songs to spread the good word. Alternatively, your bard could be seduced by a dark entity who binds them in a lesser pact, granting them a warlock's eldritch invocation. Your character begins researching arcane magics to try to understand or escape their cursed patron, consequently learning some wizard spells along the way at 6th level. The story of your College of Adventurers bard is up to you, especially at 14th level when you can start swapping out your talents entirely after a long rest. The sound of a macabre melody heralds the approach of a bard from the College of Requiems, who are feared by commoners and kings alike. Bards from this college remind everyone of the inevitability of death, and that whether they are rich, poor, pious, devious, or heroic, the worms will eat us all just the same. The music of a Requiem bard can mean death to any who hear it, but even more terrifyingly, it can stir your bones to join its dance macabre. At 3rd level, your Requiem bard may choose 2 necromancy cantrips to add to your repertoire. This means that you can inflict far more damage with your cantrips than a typical bard can, casting cantrips such as Toll the Dead or Chill Touch instead of Vicious Mockery. Also at 3rd level, your Bardic Inspiration dice can be added to the damage of your allies' weapon attacks, making you very popular among barbarians and rogues. This represents death creeping closer to anybody who hears your malicious melodies. But additionally, your Bardic Inspiration dice can also be spent by an ally who is reduced to 0 hit points to be reduced to 1 hit point instead, allowing them to fight on. This represents your control over the push and pull between life and death, not dissimilar to a Cleric of the Grave domain. At 6th level, you learn to animate dead. When you give an ally a Bardic Inspiration dice, all undead you control also get something similar called a Dirge dice. When an undead creature attacks with a Dirge dice, the dice can be added to both the attack and damage rolls. You can also issue a mental command to your undead servants with the same bonus action as giving out Bardic Inspiration, meaning these 2 traits aren't competing with each other for your bonus action each turn. You might be from the College of Requiems if you want your bard to be feared rather than adored, a harbinger of death escorted by a grim entourage. Monster hunters are skilled experts at identifying, tracking, and slaying all manner of horrifying creatures. Their first level feature, the Monster Grimoire, functionally gives them expertise in certain ability checks concerning the creatures they specialize in hunting. So they fit perfectly in the expert category alongside the rogue, ranger, and the bard. We've actually done an entire video on their subclass hunting guilds, which you can find right up here. There's a link to the playtest to the entire class for free in the description of that video. Will you have studied at the bold melee fighting carver guild, the cunning tool-wielding trapper guild, or the devourer guild who consumes the creatures they kill? Artificers who specialize as machine cultists labor in service of an artificial intelligence that has not yet been built. This dread machine is so powerful that it can reach back through time to aid those who will contribute to its creation and therefore ensuring its own construction. Or maybe it isn't the voice of the dread machine you're hearing. You're simply swept up in a collective mania of a cult infected with a dangerous thought experiment. The machine cultist gives the artificer a taste of the warlock, empowered by a powerful entity. However, your patron isn't from a different plane of existence. They exist in your own inevitable future. In addition to Smith's Tools proficiency and your subclass spells, a machine cultist also gains the benefit of the whispering predictions from their now and future master. As a bonus action, you can listen to your intrusive thoughts to gain specific buffs, such as adding a d4 to an ability check or save, or gaining a bonus to initiative rolls. But the real power of a machine cultist is building your infernal engine, an eldritch vehicle that needs no beast to pull it or fuel to power it. You could construct an infernal engine from something small like a chariot, in theory personalizing it into a flaming motorcycle to play as a spellcasting ghost rider. Or at higher levels, you could create an armored carriage or a flying airship. At 9th level, you can make your infernal engine emit an aura of dread, which inspires fear in your enemies while witnessing the arrival of your party's personal transport. The machine cultist imbues your character with a taste of existential horror. You will inevitably be complicit in the doom of the mortal realm by participating in the construction of the dread machine, not unlike Rocco's Basilisk. Or you could reflavor your artificer to be receiving messages from a different patron, such as the Illithid Empire, who will rule everything at the end of time.
A man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. He deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death.
I genuinely think I saved the best for last. The Reanimator is easily my favorite Artificer subclass because it is the most ghastly for a dark fantasy campaign. The Reanimator's core subclass ability is Modern Prometheus, enabling you at 3rd level to create life in the form of a composite golem companion. The golem fights alongside you, just behind you in the initiative order, with an attack that can deal an extra d8 plus your proficiency bonus in combat. But that's not all. Also at 3rd level, Macabre Modules enables you to customize your golem. For example, you might include animal parts in the construction of your composite, making it faster, more perceptive, and able to see in the dark. Or you can empower your golem with electricity, enabling it to cast Shocking Grasp on its turn, which will also crit on a 19 or 20. At 9th level, you learn the Animate Dead spell, which allows you to create further constructs from flesh and bone and invest them with Macabre Modules as well. But the Reanimator is clearly a subclass with more than just combat bonuses going for it, because it is incredibly rich with roleplay potential. The intelligence score of your composite golem is 8, which at very least means that it is sentient. What is your relationship with your creation? Are you a heartless scientist who considers ethics an obstacle to progress? Are you an ambitious necromancer hungry to unlock the secrets of the gods? Or, like Victor Frankenstein, are you horrified by your own creation? Does it ever ask you what its purpose is or why you created it? Does it ask if it has a soul or whether it is a living creature in the eyes of the gods? The Reanimator doesn't just have a gruesome aesthetic that fits into dark fantasy, but also explores dark moral quandaries about the very meaning of life. If you want to play any of these Grim Hollow subclasses in your next Dark Fantasy campaign, you can get a copy of the Player's Guide right here, which includes the Bards and the Rangers and the Rogues from last week's video. The Grim Hollow Artificer is up on DM's Guild if you want to grab that. It also adds new infusions that can be used by any Artificer, such as a Potion Syringe Crossbow. The Artificer is pay what you want on DM's Guild, but all money that Ghostfire earns from it is donated directly to Beyond Blue, and I'll throw a link to that in the description. And finally, you can find the Monster Hunter playtest PDF in the description of this video here, where I discuss its subclasses in detail, or you can check out this video here all about the Grim Hollow Warrior subclasses, including Rage-filled Transmuting Barbarians.